First, we will install the trigger, using great care to keep the disconnector and spring in position until the axle is pushed through them in the receiver. The hammer comes next. Carefully fold the hammer spring as you press the hammer down into position and install the hammer axle. Make sure the hammer springs are in proper position to retain the trigger axle. Check trigger and hammer for proper engagement and function. Then we can install the safety. Slide the safety into the Quattro receiver. You may need to manipulate the trigger some in order to get it in place depending on manufacturer. Once the safety is in position, install the safety detent from the bottom of the receiver and carefully install the grip while keeping the safety detent spring in its place. Tighten the grip screw firmly. Install the buffer retainer and spring into position in the buffer tube boss. Hold it down while threading in the buffer tube just enough to keep the buffer retainer from coming out. Put the rear takedown pin back into position the same way it came out, making sure to line up the detent groove with the detent bore. Then, slide the detent into position followed by the spring. Then you can carefully rotate the buffer tube and back plate into position to press the spring into place. Once it is in place and flush, you can tighten down the castle nut securing the assembly, using an armorer's wrench to snug it down tight. Then stake the castle nut in place. The front takedown pin is a bit harder. The spring goes into the bore first and is followed by the detent. Use either a dummy pin or other tool to hold the detent down in its bore while you carefully guide the front takedown pin into place. Be very careful because this is where half of the world's detent pins are lost. If the tool slips out of position, the detent will be fired off into the 5th dimension where they are eaten by gun controlling ghouls. Once you get the takedown pin lined up and installed, check it for proper function. With all these parts in place, you should be ready to reinstall your buffer and upper receiver and the world will again make sense. Insert the Quad Mag 53 and make sure the bolt stop and magazine release work properly. If everything works properly at this point, you'll be ready to hit the range with a refreshed sense of freedom and firepower. If you have any problems, feel free to comment below and we'll help the best we can. And if you've lost your detents, we can tell you where to buy another set. Thanks for watching the video, folks. Be safe and enjoy the Quattro-15.